Hello and welcome, friends, back to my channel. My name is Bryan. You're watching Game Brigade, and today we're going to be talking about The Dark Quarter by Ɂawed Games in conjunction with Van Ryder. So we are going to be diving into this campaign. One, I want to know what's the game about. Two, is the game worth backing? Are we looking at a pledge level that is justifying the cost? And three, we're going to talk about shipping and the overall expense to bring this game from manufacturing to our door. If that sounds interesting to you, if you want a little bit more information rather than in terms of this Kickstarter guide, stay tuned for that. Okay, so before we dive into the campaign, first off, I want to say thank you to all my Patreons. We've got a really great push of new people supporting the channel. Without your support, I couldn't do this, so thank you. If you have thought about supporting the channel, $1 is a great support. Link is down below. So with that said, let's jump into the Kickstarter campaign. This is the Dark Quarter. We're at day 1, 22 days to go. They're doing great. They got 2,967 backers, just over $300,000 pledged of their $81,000 goal. This is brought to us by ₦awed Games, and we have seen games in the similar vein as that they are presenting here. I have reviewed Destinies, which is, I would say, the predecessor to Dark Quarter, and I have reviewed Dark Quarter, at least the first impressions of what the first scenario is like. If you want those, I'll put the links down below. I recommend watching them so you can get a good idea of how their system is working. But the Dark Quarter is an app-based, story-driven narrative game where players are going to be taking on the role of one of 4 agents of the Beaumont Agency, and you are going to be trying to solve a case which is going to probably go into a deeper underground seediness. It's hard to know because, again, I only played the first scenario, so I don't necessarily know where it's going to take us, but we get a good idea in terms of what the game's experiencing. So what are we getting with the Dark Quarter? Well, let's take a look at some of the components. You can see here they've got some different minis and some player cards. We're beginning a free expansion. I guess we can talk about that right now. The free exclusive expansion, they say that I have seen these in stores, but those are usually stores that do Kickstarter backing. But this is a free content expansion, which is a prequel to kind of lay you in terms of giving you an idea of how the 4 characters that you have, what is their backstory. One of the interesting things about this game is each character, while you're playing, also has a narrative that they can follow through the game that is their unique storyline. So I'm assuming the prequel is going to expand upon that and kind of give a little bit more backstory in terms of your situation you're dealing with. Okay. So let's come on down to the components because we really want to know. This is all talking about the game and everything you're going to get, but we want to know what the meat, what is in the box. Here we go. So we have our 4 different characters. Now 4 different characters, all with a different color hue. You can see we've got green, red, purple, and yellow. That is also an indication of which of the 4 traits those characters are good with, and they kind of go in line with what that character's theme is in line. So we have John here. He's a police officer or some sort of detective, and he's going to be very good at deduction and his ability to find things and see things. So that's what this green thing is. We got Julia Paris, who is a vampire. I'm not sure if that's I don't think that's a secret in terms of their art direction here, but she is a vampire. She's a physical power, so she's very good at strength and combat and physical prowess. We have Constance, who is a mysticism. She's very good at arcane arts. She's a mage. You can see her little hand fire here, so it doesn't seem like that's too hidden. So the purple track, and then we've got Winter, who is an alcoholic, and he's a drinker, and so he's very charismatic, and he's great to talk to, and he'll talk your ear off. So charismatic down here. I believe Winter was also a detective of some sort. I'm not quite sure. I didn't play Winter. One of my friends did, so I'm not quite sure what his backstory is, but it would be interesting to know. But then we're going to get to City Board. City Board is just a small board, about, if you could imagine what this yay height is, maybe about 12 to maybe 24 by 12 is where I'd place it. You have location tiles, 44 locations. These are the places that you'll be visiting when you explore different points of interest on the city board. So there's going to be 44 unique locations. We have 4 crime scenes. So like I said, this is the locations you're going to be investigating. So there's 4 scenarios in this game. Sounds like they're doing 4 crime scenes per scenario. So I'm assuming each scenario we're revolving around a different crime. And so this is the one from the base game, or from the first scenario. And then we have the NPC markers, 41. That's great because I only got 20, I believe, in my prototype, and I didn't see all 20. So you'll be doubling that, 41 NPC markers. Location markers, these are just generic. They're just locations on the map to let you know where you can go. But again, it's also redundant because the app also shows that. They have experience tokens. I didn't understand why these were double-sided in terms of different arts on either side, or if each one referenced differently, but they are double-sided experience tokens. And we have different, these are the, 5 act, okay, that doesn't, still the same. Experience and experience. Finale marker, points of interest, same thing, and skill cubes. So we're getting an idea of what we're getting in this game. Lots of different cards, 64 consumable cards, story cards. So this will be a side deck, which is numbered from 1 down to 64. And there's some of them that are doubled up. So probably maybe more like 50 or so in terms of individual items. And these will all give you an ability. And you'll notice that there's a QR code here on the card. And so what that means is you could scan this card in game and it might give you a response or a reaction, or allow dialogue options to occur with characters in game. Or you can discard the card and take whatever the skill test down here check is, and that will give you whatever bonus that may be, but now you no longer have this card available to you. So those are the type of cards, and they are mostly unique, and they're identified by a number. So the game will tell you, you find item 47, you would find item 47, and that is what you looted. Okay. Here they are showing you the miniature options. Now they are showing the prominent NPCs. It's a little unfortunate because it does spoil some of the potential things that you could see down the road, especially if they were to name them. Luckily, they're just saying Cursed Werewolf and the Executioner. That's great, because if they had said Constance's mom or something, I don't know, that would not work. So that would be very awkward if they gave like a name like this is Jared Leto, and now if you ran into a Jared Leto, oh, hey, there's Jared. So there you go. So I'm glad they kind of gave him unique, not unique, but they gave him more generic names. But you're also still seeing what characters are in the game. Okay, so the rule book, pretty simple game. You don't really even need to read the rule book. The game walks you through it, so we don't need to talk about that. And then we've got the expansion. We've already kind of talked about this. The Dark Quarter, the Yesterday's Demon. It's going to be talking about all the pre stuff. And then we have stretch goals to be unlocking this game that are going to be making the game more diverse and filled, but they are going to be daily unlocks. So these are not going to be monetary unlocks. So there's no real chasing the total pledge count here because it's already been decided. So the question is, looking at the Dark Quarter, do we recommend this game? Is the cost point something we can back? So we're going to get through this. They have a lot of exposition here they want to show you, and expansions here. So we're just going to go down to the pledge levels. The Rookie, coming in at 59 euros, includes the base game as well as the free expansion. Only 303 backers are backing this one. And to be honest with you, of the ones that are available, this might be the one that I would mostly recommend. But we'll talk about the price points in terms of final recommendations later in the video. But in terms of what this game is, I'm going to let you guys know. The acrylic tokens, metal coins, miniatures for the NPCs, I honestly don't think they're that needed for this game. You have the miniatures for the characters. You've got the miniatures for the relevant, impactful NPCs. And for me, in the game that we played, the little chits for the NPCs or points of interest that we need to interact with worked very well, and they seemed to fit perfectly fine on the board and made sense. I don't necessarily think you need to upgrade to get a miniature of a character that you might have a 5-minute dialogue with and then never see that character again in the game. I think, one, it's going to detract from the game because you're going to have to find and hunt down that mini, pull it out of the storage, put it on the board, talk to the mini, and then maybe he goes, and now you got to put him away and put him back in the box, and he's done for the rest of your campaign. So I just believe I would stick to the rookie pledge, or the one if you're looking for expansions, but I wouldn't necessarily go much deeper, but we're going to talk about them. This would be the one that I would recommend if you're wanting a full narrative expansion. You've got the Dark Quarter base game. For $35, you have the Lost Knight, which is an expansion, which includes 4 different characters. So it seems like you're just going to be going on another scenario. It's a whole nother different story. That's how I would presume this. And then again, like I said, your prequel stuff for the base game characters. This one will give you probably the best narrative experience if you like the system. So this would be that recommendation at 94 euros, about $103. Okay, but here we are. We're coming down here to the whole damn agency discount bundle, 139 euros. It's going to include the miniature pack. It's going to include the metal coins. It's going to include the plastic token pack. I get it. I like deluxifying my games, but there's times in games where the deluxification makes sense because you are adding to the experience and it's enhancing the experience. I don't necessarily know if these will enhance the experience. I played base game Destiny, which came with a whole slew of miniatures, like 40 miniatures, and it was more of a pain to find the individual miniature for the scenario, and it didn't really add anything to the enjoyment of the game. So if I'm looking to enhance my enjoyment, is adding an additional $50 on top of my pledge adding enough for me to experience? And I don't think this is, in my opinion, worth it. And I would really urge people to really, decide for themselves, I guess. But if we look at it, this is the majority of the backers. You can't really see because my freaking head is in the way. How can I show you that? I don't think I can. Unfortunately, you can't see. So here on this thing, down the bottom, it says 1,500 backers are currently pledging the whole damn agency. That's great for Lucky Duck. I think that's an incredible job. I just don't necessarily think that these are needed for the gameplay to get the maximum enjoyment out of the game. But if you wanted to buy them individually, if you want to take, say, just the rookie pledge and you want to buy things individually, that is an option as well. You can see for 30 euros, you can get the Dark Quarter miniature pack, which is basically just going to give you a bunch of miniatures to fill in all of the chits that you would normally have. So that's, it's a good way to see a bunch of the different characters. Again, I don't think necessarily it's worth investing in. The deluxe metal tokens, these are just the experience tokens, which you're just going to gain and then spend. I don't necessarily think that's an investment that I would dive into. So that is my pledge level discussion. But let's talk shipping now. We're going to scroll all the way down to the shipping track. So first, shipping estimates. Shipping will be charged after the campaign during the pledge manager. VAT is included in the prices. The difference in tax is being put towards cheaper shipping for other countries. I just had a great conversation with King of Average. We talked in depth regarding my thoughts regarding things like this. I would recommend watching his video if you haven't seen it yet. I'll put it down in the description when it goes live. I think it's going to go a little live after this video, but I'll make sure to edit this video's description and include his video. If you're interested in seeing it, I would recommend watching it. It's a great conversation. But VAT is included in the price, and I do believe that that means that the price overall for this campaign is higher than it normally would be in other circumstances. because we're looking at $65 for the base game. When we look at similar games made by Lucky Duck that have very similar components, if not more components, they were cheaper. Yes, I know inflation and manufacturing and shipping has all gone up, but we pay for shipping with our shipping costs, so that's some of that's negated there. So I do believe when they wrap in any type of VAT tax for people, it does raise the price of the pledge. Now that could be, it's hard for me to prove that. This is me in my opinion, but I do believe it does raise the price of the overall campaign. The other option though is it says for people who are paying no VAT tax, like US backers are paying no VAT tax, you will get a discount in your shipping because they are including that VAT in. But when you look here at the cost, in terms of the overall shipping costs, it doesn't seem to reflect that. So the US shipping costs, if you were to get the whole damn agency pledge, which again is the majority of the backers, are coming in at $40. While if you're an EU, you're and that's dollars. But if you're an EU, you're sub 20 euros unless you're in Switzerland. So I'm questioning, a lot of these countries do have VAT, and their shipping is definitely much cheaper than US. So the US people are also paying for VAT, but their shipping is not being discounted. I'm just wondering where that correlation is coming from. And if anyone has any suggestions in the comments, I would love to hear it. I'd love to have a friendly conversation regarding that. So that's the shipping cost. So when we're looking again at the whole damn agency coming in at $152, attach an additional $40 on top of that, you're looking at $200 worth of content for the dark quarter. So let's come back over here as we wrap this up and kind of finalize my thoughts. Is it worth it? I will tell you, and I hate saying this because I like the game. I'll tell you right now, I like the game. I don't think I would recommend a friend of mine, and I consider you guys my friends, to back this in the Kickstarter right now for the prices I'm seeing. I think you can be able to pick this game up at retail for much cheaper. Even if it's just the base game and you don't have the prequel, you don't have any of the stuff, just the base game, you get the experience. You can probably pick it up between $40 and $60. I think you're going to have a lot better enjoyment knowing that you saved yourself over $100. That's my opinion in terms of my recommendation. And I don't normally say that to things like this because a lot of times I can justify the cost. I'm having a hard time justifying it with the Dark Quarter. So hopefully you guys are okay with, that. I hope, some people watching this might disagree with me. Let me know if you do. I'd love to hear it. So if this is the type of content you want to hear my honest opinions, and maybe it helps you make a better decision in your backing, I'd like to know. Leave me a comment down below with your thoughts. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap this up. Again, leave a like if you want to help with the YouTube algorithm. Greatly, really supports the channel more than you would know. If you want to support us, join the Patreon. Again, links are all down below. Join the community. Also, we have a Discord. All those things always are down the links. And I also have a new disclosure. I don't know if anyone's noticed. I always put a disclosure now down below, kind of talking about my relationship with the company. Is it paid? Is it not paid? Whatever. So if you're ever questioning my relationship with the company, I will have it in the disclosures. I usually outline multiple things regarding that, so you can take a look at it. I would appreciate if anyone gave me some comments on that as well. So I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to get out of here. I'll talk to you guys all soon. Bye-bye.